Hi everyone, my name is Donna Burke and I'm a longtime supporter and advocate of the nursing department and in particular nursing students. I've helped many nursing students on their path to becoming a nurse. And today I'm coming to you today to talk about test anxiety. And it can be a real significant factor for many students when they get into the nursing program is managing test anxiety and really employing the techniques that are suggested to be an effective test taker. So we're going to talk about some of those very simple things that you can do to hopefully improve your test performance and to feel less anxious. So the first thing to think about is that you have come this far, okay? You are smart, you're intelligent, you're hardworking, you have made it to the nursing department. And that is really an accomplishment. And I think sometimes when we are suffering from test anxiety, we forget all that. We forget that we have gotten this far and we've worked very hard. And so sometimes in forgetting that, we allow our anxiety to overtake us. Test anxiety is a real phenomenon. It is a real condition that people can have. That's the other thing I want to make sure that I'm clear about is that test anxiety is real. What is it? What is my definition of it? My definition is it's a mental and or physiological reaction to a real or perceived ability or inability, I should say, to perform satisfactorily on an assessment. So it might be real. Maybe you haven't prepared enough. But a lot of times it also can be a perceived inability to perform. And that's what we're going to be talking about is how do we talk to ourselves? How do we learn to kind of calm ourselves down? And especially how do we attack a test rather than being a victim of a test? You're going to hear me talk about that too. So some physical symptoms can include the inability to focus, nervousness, sweating, shaking, feelings of dread, upset stomach, headache, crying, feeling of panic. Now, some of these symptoms and the physiological responses can be within normal ranges. So it's really unusual that you would take an exam and not feel a little bit of anxiety. A little bit of anxiety is not necessarily a bad thing. As many of you know, it could be a positive motivator. It's when it goes over the scale and it really starts to shut us down that it can become a major issue for students. So I'm sure you've heard your nursing faculty say that preparation is key. And I really do believe that's true. Making sure that you are attending your peer group sessions and that you're going for extra help, that you're doing your readings, you're doing your assignments, you're employing all the test taking strategies that you've learned up to this point. Okay. That's also preparation. When you're looking at the material, thinking to yourself, what might a question on the test be? Anticipating questions as you're studying. And most of you are really involved in preparation. You know how to prepare. Again, you would not get to this point if you didn't prepare. So really just putting a lot of your energy into preparing and trusting the advice of a lot of your nursing faculty when they tell you how to focus your attention on the material and what to be looking for. A lot of them give very good test-taking strategies. So try to follow some of those suggestions. But as always, preparation is the key. And not only that, so you're preparing, but remind yourself that you've prepared. What you're going to hear me say throughout this video is a lot of test anxiety is a mental formation that we're having in our mind. We are talking ourselves into this anxiety that, we're going to fail even though we've prepared, that, oh my goodness, I don't want to get out of the program. We kind of catastrophize the situation. Are tests important in the nursing program? Absolutely. Is there a lot at stake? Yes, sometimes there is. But it's how we talk to ourselves that can help us to reduce our level of anxiety. We could talk ourselves into an anxiety attack over an exam, and we can talk ourselves out of one. And that's important to remember. So giving yourself realistic messages. I was going to say positive, but it's more about realistic messages. I've prepared. I know what, I have a good sense of the material. I'm going to go in here and see what I could do. That definitely will be a mindset that will help you to calm down and to relax. So some things to consider before exams. Many of you know these already. but try to avoid staying up late, possibly even if you can. Many of you are working adults, I get that, but possibly if you can, to not necessarily work the day before an exam or the night before, God forbid, the night before an exam. The day before and the night before an exam really should be sort of a winding down of your studying, maybe using study sheets to do some light review. Also when you, that morning, or it could be afternoon as well, but making sure that you've had enough to eat, making sure that you're well hydrated, although sometimes you want to be careful not to hydrate so much that you have to keep getting up and down, during exams. Some exams do not allow you to do that. But just making sure that you're following the basics of self-care, especially that morning. What also can happen is, this would happen a lot in anatomy and physiology hallways. I'm not sure about the nursing hallways, but students congregate outside the room of an exam and they start talking nervously. Well, what about this? What about that? What about this? Avoid those kind of conversations. Go into another part of the building until the room opens up. Put on headphones out in the hallway. Just try not to get into those kinds of conversations because they tend to just increase your level of anxiety. And that kind of nervous chatter before an exam really doesn't help anybody. So really try to just be supportive of your classmates and each other and try not to have those anxiety-riddled conversations and to avoid them if you come upon them. Again, I'm going to be talking about engaging in positive self-talk, reminding yourself that you're doing your best, that you've prepared as best as you can, and that you want to have a curiosity about the test. I want to see how I do. Again, it's sort of a different shift. And instead of feeling like the test is coming at you, you come at the test. I want to see what I know. I want to see how I can apply myself. That change of mindset can help tremendously. So during an exam, so before starting an exam, I give students this bit of advice, and it's a little hokey, but sit down, connect with your body, kind of do a little centering for yourself, take a breath, and then smile. I know it sounds goofy, but when you smile, it releases the tension in your face. A lot of times we hold a lot of tension in our neck and our face and our jaw. But just allow yourself to smile. Remind yourself that you've worked really hard to earn this seat in the nursing department and in this exam. And then just go at the test. Have a plan of attack. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to answer the questions. Rather than having being sort of like, oh no, what's going to be on it? Get in there. Oftentimes a recommendation that I have for students is read the entire question. Don't just assume you know the answer. Read the entire question. Do not look at any answers first, but read the question. And on your own, before you look at the answers, maybe cover up your computer screen or whatever you need to do to not see the answers. On your own, think what you remember about the objectives or the course material that you know what the answer is. Think to yourself, I think the answer is this. And then go through the answers and see, are there any answers that are listed there that are close to what you remember from the material from the course readings and some of your other experiences with the course material? So that's a really good strategy so that you don't sort of get confused and kind of second guessing yourself between answers. Think about what you know about the answer. And then sometimes it's about nursing exams can be tricky. I mean, there's not a lot of them can sound right. All the answers can sound correct. And sometimes it's a process of elimination, and remembering certain things about those situations. So really take your time and use all of the strategies that your faculty members have been telling you to do. Another thing that I hear from nursing students is about the time aspect of taking the test, having the test be timed. It's a reality. You need to kind of work within that time frame. So you want to be working at a sort of fast and comfortable pace, but at the same time not rushing, trying to look at all the questions, trying to make sure you're reading thoroughly, but being aware of time. So again, it's this aspect of that time is there and you want to be aware of it, but you don't want to rush. And you also don't want to lag too far into one question and spend so much time. You may want to also take little mental or physical breaks. Could be just as easy as stretching, doing some light stretching, some light breathing, closing your eyes for a minute. And again, time is of the essence. You don't want to spend too much time with a break, but even just a few seconds to kind of clear your mind and stretch your body a little bit can really help. So after the exam, taking some time to decompress in a healthy way. Again, trying to avoid anxious conversations with classmates about right or wrong answers, about what you said for this. I know it's sort of human nature, but again, the test is over for right now, and you don't know whether your classmate's correct or not correct. So hypothesizing about it right now might not be the best way to kind of help yourself to decompress. You'll have time later to go over the exam with your faculty member or classmates. And so I wouldn't necessarily rush out to start talking to each other. And again, I know that's kind of human nature, but just be aware of it. If it's starting to raise your anxiety, then avoid the conversation. And again, making sure that you review the exam and find out, okay, why did you get a question wrong? Was it that you missed that part of the material? Was it that you didn't read the whole question? Really trying to understand why you got that question wrong can be really helpful for future exams. And the most important thing that we've been talking about through this whole session has been how you talk to yourself. And again, that's not to say it's not based in reality. I mean, it's one thing to say, I want to get an A on this test, and you haven't done any preparation, and all the positive self-talk in the world is not going to get you an A on that test. But being realistic, okay, and managing negative thinking and trying to prepare the best that you can, and try to get help if you need it. Another aspect that I wanted to talk about is the fact that, anxiety, depression, especially with everything we have going on in the world right now, those can be major factors for folks. But sometimes when we're in a program like nursing, we feel like we have to be super men and women, and that you have to have it all together. And the truth is, we all have periods of our life where we struggle a little bit, maybe with a little bit of anxiety, a little depression. And when it starts to really impact our life, or we can see that it's having a negative impact, we need to be able to get support and get help. And there's many resources on campus. Your faculty members, the counseling center can also put you in touch with folks outside of MCC. So if you're feeling like your anxiety over your grades or exams are really, it's becoming so difficult that you cannot handle it in a positive way, I really suggest that you reach out for help, because there's lots of support. And being a healthy nursing student is going to lead you to being a healthy nurse. The career of nursing is very rewarding, but it's also very demanding and can be very, very stressful. So the positive habits that you develop now of positive self-care really can help carry you through, so that you have not only a healthy nursing student career, but a healthy career as a nurse. So I want to encourage anybody, if you want to contact me, talk to your faculty members. They'll have my contact information. You can email me or contact me, and we can set up a time to meet to talk specifically about your testing issues if you'd like to. And I think I'm going to be doing some work with the Student Nurse Association at MCC, as I usually do, on mindfulness and meditation and stress management. So I may see you there. So take care and good luck, guys.